Kerry Katona says her children begged her to leave her husband George K because she was living in constant fear. The TV reality star has spoken for the first time of her stormy relationship with former boxer George, 37, just 1 month after their split. Mum of 5 Kerry tearfully told the Sunday People how she was terrified of her third husband and had to call police to eject him from their family home. She said, "I feel like the worst mother in the world and I will never forgive myself. No child should have to hear what they heard or see what they saw. I sat my Molly and Lily down because they're older and all I could do was profusely apologize to them. I said to the girls, I'm so sorry I've let this go on for so long. They said, why are you standing for this? Just leave him." Kerry, 36, followed her girls' advice, but it wasn't until footage emerged of former rugby league player George naked and shouting incoherently from a rooftop in Liverpool that she realized she could never go back to him. She added, "For me that was the nail in the coffin. I just thought, you're a dad, have some self-control. He has had so much power over me for so long, but I can't let my children go back to that, even if I could." Kerry recalls how she used to plead with her own mother to leave an abusive partner when she was a child. Now she fears history could be repeated with her daughters. She said, "I should have seen the warning signs and walked away. I don't want my daughters to think it's acceptable to be in a relationship like that, or for my son to think it's acceptable to treat women that way either." Kerry, whose 3-year marriage to George ended last month, claims he was a controlling partner and tried to cut her off from her friends as well as becoming verbally abusive and threatening. The Atomic Kitten singer said, "He would spit in my face all the time and I would think that's okay because he's not giving me a hiding. But it's one of the most degrading things you can have done to you. George likes to hold a grudge. He didn't like me having friends. He wanted me all to himself. There were arguments all the time. Even my relationship with my children went on hold because he wanted all of my attention. I feel so guilty for that and am determined to make it up to them." Kerry, who was previously married to former Westlife singer Brian McFadden, 37, and taxi driver Mark Croft, 45, admitted that when she finds love she falls hard. Her relationships are driven by her need to give her children what she did not have growing up, a father figure. "When Brian left me I felt like a failure as a wife and a mum," Kerry said. "My dream was not to be rich or famous, it was to have a husband and kids. Everybody wants that fairy tale happy ending. And being an only child who had 3 sets of foster parents, I so desperately wanted that for them." Kerry, who grew up in Warrington, Cheshire, and was put into foster care at the age of 16, said, "I saw my mum go through hell being battered by her fellas. I thought, I'd never be like that, and now I've been in a relationship that had its own complications and difficulties. I realize how hard it is to walk away." Kerry, mum to Molly, 16, Lily, 14, Heidi, 10, Maxwell, 9, and Dylan Hawkey, 3, says she ended her latest marriage when George flew into a jealous rage because she was going into Channel 5's Celebrity Big Brother. She says police had to help eject him from their home in Crowborough, East Sussex, after Kerry alleged he had threatened her. "It is a control thing for George," Kerry said. "He has a fiery temper and although I'm the breadwinner, it felt like he resented my job and my career. It turned into a heated argument and I had to pull out of the show." The row was not the first fight to separate the couple. They previously split in October 2015 after 13 months together, with George appearing in court a month later. He was accused of beating Kerry up and arming himself with a taser stun gun. But the charges were dropped when Kerry refused to give evidence against him. She took George back, claiming it was solely for the sake of her kids, including his daughter Dylan Hawkey. She said, "Dylan Hawkey kept saying, 'Where's Daddy? I miss him,' and that pulled at my heartstrings. I kept thinking if I leave him, then I'll be a bad mum because she wants her daddy. watching George mentally fall apart during a public meltdown earlier this month, his first since he was detained under the Mental Health Act in 2014, was the final straw for Kerry. During a disturbing 2-hour standoff, George climbed naked onto the roof of a property in Formby, Liverpool, and screamed for help before he was coaxed down by police. Kerry, who herself suffers from bipolar disorder, said, "George is completely and utterly delusional on that rooftop. I didn't know who that person was. It was heartbreaking. For me that was the nail in the coffin. We'd already separated, but watching that was I am so done. I don't want that around me, around the kids. It makes me feel physically sick to see him like that. He can't see the damage and effect it had on all of us as a family." Kerry believes his mental instability stems from the traumatic birth of their first child when both newborn Dylan Hawkeye and Kerry nearly died. "After I gave birth she just stopped breathing and it was terrifying," she said. "A crash team was called in to look after her. But then another was called in to help me because my placenta had ruptured inside me, which is really dangerous. The fact is, we nearly both died. But what I hadn't realized was the impact it had on George, having to make a decision about whether to follow what was happening to his dying wife or his dying child. I think the pressure of that decision had a lot to do with George's mental breakdowns. But Kerry is certain she has made the right decision to split and insists she is looking wholeheartedly to the future. I can't live with regret," she said. "I can't go on about the past or I'll get stuck there. If I keep going, poor me, then I probably will hit the self-destruct button. I don't want to be brought down by negativity anymore. I don't want the life sucked out of me. I don't want to be drained. I'm drawing a line underneath it all. I'm excited about the new chapter in my life and I feel like my life is about to begin for the better." George said, "Any suggestion I was violent is untrue. I looked after Molly and Lily for 6 years. I ended the relationship as the marriage didn't work. The whole situation is not ideal, but hopefully it will get better with time. I wish Kerry the best of luck for the future."